Hi, I'm Jane, and together with Jodes, we are two proud feminists passionate about female empowerment. This podcast is our take on the real conversations, real issues, and real challenges we must stay focused on if we're going to inspire the next generation of female leaders, managers, and entrepreneurs to pick up the baton and continue the journey to equality. But be warned, there will be rants and the odd profanity, but mainly just lots of curious conversations, uplifting stories, great guests, and food for thought on the path we still have to travel. It is clear that our young girls need us to harness our gumption and to use our voices now to make the changes we all know need to happen. It's time to be a pioneer, not a passenger. To paraphrase the famous words of a female game changer, Hollywood's iconic Bette Davis, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Welcome to a new series of Jane and Jodes on One, real women, real conversations, real issues. And in this series, I am so excited because I am talking about my zone of genius.
I knew you were going to say that.
Joe says it. I love it. My zone of genius, which is all about female male energy and balance, and this whole superwoman scenario that lots of us play. So we are going to be talking about why and how female energy matters to all of us as women throughout this whole series. We've got a couple of excellent guests who are going to talk about their experience and their journey. So today we're going to introduce what on earth is this woman on? What is she talking about? And Jodes and I are going to share where we sit. So back in 2015, I finally wrote a book on this subject because I've been coaching women for years and years and years, and I kept seeing this come up all the time where they were sat and holding on to their male energy. And the reason for that is pretty clear because they were working in male-coded environments with male-coded culture, and that was the only way to survive.
Yeah.
And so they became kind of very male in their approach to their personal life, their relationships, and clearly it wasn't working, as it doesn't work if you are female. And so they were really, really struggling. And I thought, wow, this is kind of like lots of women doing this. And so over a period of time, I had lots of case studies and I wrote a book on it, and I called it The Strong Woman Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And the book's called Superwoman, Why We Need to Kick Her to the Curb. And Strong Woman Syndrome is women that are they've got very, very high expectations of themselves. So they beat themselves up on a regular basis because they put themselves on this very high pedestal, and they have to be brilliant at everything. And I mean everything. So they've got to be the best boss, the best team player, the best mom at the school gates, the best social host, the best domestic goddess, the best wife, the best mother, the best girlfriend, the best neighbor, the best friend. Get the picture. And because they're putting these really high expectations on themselves, then they have very low expectations of people around them.
Yeah.
Because nobody can live up to their expectations. So they become a control freak because they do everything. So you'll hear these women saying, well, you can't get the staff. You might as well do it yourself.
This is sounding a bit familiar.
Yeah. Or, well, him indoors, by the time I've shown him how to do it, I might as well have done it myself. The kids are useless, blah, 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 blah. So you end up juggling and spinning every single ball and plate. Yeah. And clearly that is not sustainable. So what happens is the couple of the plates crash to the ground, and then you rise up and you say, well, that's not my fault because I'm doing everything. And there's a better place to live, because in doing this, what you're doing is you're controlling everything, and you're becoming very fixated in your male energy. So you are exhausted on the point of an emotional breakdown, probably 5 or 6 times a day. Nobody quite knows what messages you're giving out, because you're giving out these messages that say we are all in control, and then all of a sudden you're a weeping wreck in the corner of the room.
Broken biscuits.
What's going on here? What's going on? And this is where we've got our energy out of sync, because it's not authentic. There are some women that are more comfortable with a higher degree of male energy than others. But for most of us, the 80-20 rule is about right. So that's 80% in our female and 20% in our male. And this is nothing to do with sexuality. This is about gender norm. Okay. So this is biological in a way, if you like. This is what we're born with. So when I was kind of doing the research into all of this, I mean, I could read you a big list of things that are female energy, but as women, you will get most of this. But we've been made to believe that our female energy is not as valuable as our male energy. So female things like being emotional and compassionate, or being driven by a need for peace and harmony rather than a fight mentality, or, you know, being more focused on our team-centric abilities than our individual ego. So these things are natural to us, but they've been made to look weak, because that vulnerability is very female energy as well. And you know, also what's important is that, as I said, there are some women that are more comfortable in their female energy than others. So if we looked at Matrix and we said that, you know, there are some men that are male,
Yeah.
so they are absolute alpha males. And we were talking about this before, weren't we? And we were saying, you know, men like Gordon Ramsay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Male. Alpha
Yeah.
male.
Not much female energy there, is there? In our Gordon.
Sod all, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Jeremy Clarkson.
Even more so.
Yeah, even further along that spectrum.
You know, when you say Jeremy Clarkson, I want to go back to Gordon and say maybe he has got a time.
Yeah, or maybe Jeremy is verging on a misogynist. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he's just a little bit too far over there can be dangerous.
I don't think there'd be many people that'd argue with you on that, to be fair.
I know. And the other icon we came up with was the lovely Piers
Morgan.
Yeah, male.
And Bojo.
And Bojo, male. Now, if you look at some men that have got some female energy, so you said they were male, female, we came up with the likes of Beckham, didn't we?
Yeah, and especially after watching the recent documentary, I can definitely see how, you know, he's got 20% female,
definitely,
and he lets it out authentically now.
He's happy, isn't he? He's happy to show that, isn't he?
Oh, you know, and he loves the kind of almost domestic goddessy bits of his life as well now, and he's proud.
Yeah, I need to watch that, don't I?
Sorry, I won't spoil it.
I need to watch it.
I won't say anymore.
I need to watch it. And we also said Gary Lineker, because I mean, I know he's another ex-footballer, but and the other person we said was Rishi. He's got a bit of female.
Well, I suppose we're balancing off Boris. If Boris Johnson's very male, if we look at Rishi as the now Prime Minister, he is different to Boris. I mean, take the politics rubbish out of it and just look at energy.
He's softer, isn't he?
He is softer.
He's more nurturing.
Yeah, he is. He does display a lot more compassion.
Yeah, so we'll
give him always for the right things.
No, we'll give him that. We'll give him that. So that's the men. And then if you think about the women, if you think about women that are female, i.e. got very, very little or no male energy, we came up with the lovely Nigella.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Holly Willoughby.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So these are women that are very grounded in their female energy, and you very rarely see any male whatsoever.
And what fabulous women.
Yeah, absolutely. And what strong
iconic.
Yeah. Got their own authentic strength.
Yeah.
So nothing weak about any of those women, is there?
No.
And we looked at women that were female, male, so they were grounded in their female energy, but they had maybe 20% male energy. We talked about Deborah Meaden off Dragon's Den.
Definitely, yeah, because you can see
a soft side, can't you, as well?
She leads with that, but
she does.
She can switch a male on when she needs it.
Yeah, she can. And we're obviously on reality TV here, because the second one we said was Shirley Ballas.
Yeah.
So we're clearly on thinking I'm sure if we have more time we could put lots more women in there. And then we talked about men that were grounded in their female energy. Again, that their male was secondary. And off the top of our head, the one we came up with was Graham Norton.
Yeah, he definitely displays more female energy. And equally, we did the flip for the women in the male-female, didn't we? So with Gary and David Beckham and Rishi being the men who were male-female.
Yeah. Who did we come up with them?
There was Karen Brady, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And
good old Maggie.
And Maggie Thatcher. Yeah, we stuck with the politicians, didn't we?
For some reason.
Yeah, well, clearly Maggie Thatcher is a prime example, actually, isn't she? Of a female person, but that definitely leads with male energy.
Yeah. And actually, but knew how to bring her female energy to the table when she needed it. You know, if you watched her, you know, kind of with any of the male leaders, and at the time that she was a leader, they were all male leaders. So there was, very few. She was always the only woman around the table, wasn't she? And she brought her female energy to those negotiations very well. Yeah, very well. But she was much more comfortable in her male. Yeah, much more comfortable. Definitely. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know, that balance. We're talking about, where do you sit naturally? You know, do you feel more like you sit in your male energy with a bit of female, and are you happy with that? Or is that where you've been pushed? Is that where you've ended up because of the environment that you work in? And you kind of like, well, it's not really me, but I've got to be like that. And the problem is, it's very difficult wearing lots of different hats. So it's really difficult if you have to behave like that at work, and then you come home and you open the door and you're supposed to be something different. Yeah. So it ends up leaking into your personal life. And then if it's not where you want to be, it's very hard to sustain. So, you know, superwoman becomes super wife, becomes super mom, becomes super boss, becomes a control freak of everything, is doing everything, doesn't trust anybody else to do it. So it's task all the time. Yeah. And that's very male. Never show a weakness, never show any vulnerability, never be open about where you are, because that will be, you see that as a weakness, never mind anybody else, because you are programmed male. So also quite competitive, quite egocentric, you know, quite process. So, you know, lots of us will recognize that and think, yeah, I'm doing some of that and I really don't want to do it. So Jodes, where would you say you were here?
Yeah, loads and loads of that is resonating with me. Mm-hmm. Oh God. So I recognize, like in what you've just been saying there, that I don't think it's me, but I think I am displaying, you know, I'm behaving much more male female. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the Maggie Thatcher. I didn't think I was going to say that today. No, I'm in the Beckham camp.
You're in the Beckham camp.
But obviously I'm not male. But I think, you know, where I've spent a lot of my time, you know, I think it's getting less so now, but particularly having a corporate career. Yeah. You know, we talked in series 3, didn't we, about the corporate game. It's all male coded. So the penny started dropping for me in series 3. That, right, so I've been hanging around in this male coded world that I didn't know was going on around me. So I didn't even know there was the game. Yeah. But I was in the game, even though I didn't know I was in the game.
Doing the game very well.
I was doing the game. I'm not sure I was playing the game to my advantage, though. Okay. So I probably did what? Did I do about 15 years? Something like that. Dominating with male energy that I don't believe was my natural space. At the time, if you'd have asked me, I'd have said it absolutely was. Yes. But what you're saying about actually being super mom, super wife, super boss, super this, that, the other, I absolutely recognise that in myself, being a control freak. Some of the things you said about if you want a job doing, do it yourself, blah, 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 all typical phrases that I've used over the years. And only since turning 40, you know, in the last nearly 5 years, I'm starting to feel the impact of that. Did all right through my 20s and my 30s because I had tons of energy. Yeah. Yeah. Now I have been starting to feel a bit more worn down with that. I'm starting to think, hang on a minute, stop. Is this me? Yeah. Yeah. And I'm always confused some days.
So, you know, when we look at all these other things about, because Superwoman doesn't show any vulnerability.
No.
Superwoman never asks for help.
I'm a bugger for that.
Yeah. Superwoman is quite hard on herself.
Yeah, do that all the time. I'm the best at beating myself up, and I can beat anyone else at beating me up.
Yeah, you've done it before. You've done it before them. You're excellent at doing that. Yeah, so these are all signs of you kind of holding on to that control because you perceive all those things I've just talked about as what?
As weaknesses. When you were saying that word, and I was trying to think, where have they come from? Why do I have this? It's not a conscious perception. I think it's been an unconscious perception, but they've not just come from one place. The obvious is that corporate career obviously has given me all of those narratives that some of those female energy traits are weaknesses. Definitely, that's the obvious place. But actually, on reflection, I think there's quite a lot in my childhood.
Okay.
I think, you know, if anybody who's read my book and read some of my story, is like when you look at the expectations that were placed on me by particularly my dad compared to the other kids in the family, the expectation was a lot higher on me. So I felt like I had to fight. And I felt like I was like on my own to do that. I didn't feel like there was any help there. You need to achieve that.
Yeah.
But no one's giving you any help. So you need to flip and figure it out and sort it out yourself. And so I took on a bit of a warrior attitude from a young age. So I was like, right, do you know what? I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
Guess what? Watch this. I've always been on a mission to prove that almost I watch this, I can do anything I set my mind to, which obviously has its positives.
Yeah. And you don't need to be in your male to do that, by the way.
But I think
lots of women that
I've been convinced that that's what I have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although that language you're using is not male.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not male. Women do that. Women achieve great things on their own. Women, you know, have had high expectations put on them. It doesn't mean they're doing it from their male energy.
No. But when I look at some of the traits, I think my method for doing it has been male.
Okay.
So not the thing that I'm doing. It's fine. I get what you're saying. It's fine for me to achieve things on my own and be strong and independent and capable and all of those things. But I think I've used some male energy traits. I think I've been competitive. I think I've always been ready to fight rather than, you know, trying to achieve things through peace and harmony.
Yeah.
I can have quite a single-minded focus. Yeah. I'm still quite big picture.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I have definitely had somewhere that being emotional and compassionate is, I feel bad to say it, but that it is weak, and I have relied on power, rank and status.
Yeah. Well, it's brave to say it, because when you know, you can't change anything unless you acknowledge it.
No, that's it, yeah.
So, you know, we are talking here, we're throwing some of these words around at you, and you know, maybe we should just like go through some of those things a bit clearer, because it's very easy to look at some of these female traits and go, oh, all the soft, girly, like, you know, soft things that you can, you know, like men will see as weak and whatever. But we're not saying that. We're saying that male and female energy has to sit together. But you know, if you have too much of one and you're not feeling comfortable in that, you know, you might feel very comfortable being competitive, having a fight mentality, you know, be looking at power, rank and status. You might be actually very happy with that, and not happy with some of the other things. You've got to work out where you sit. But what we're talking about is energy. So female energy is gentler, it's nurturing, it's receptive, intuitive. It does focus on the need for peace and harmony rather than to fight. But you know, we need to fight sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, it's not that you get rid of it. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with male energy.
It's just how it sits with you,
and the whole idea of balance and making the world in which we operate in more balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't got that.
No, so that's why it's so hard to be in our female. Yeah, and I think maybe that's an issue that I've not really seen until we started having these conversations, is maybe I would find it easier to let my female energy out if I didn't have to push on in a male coded world. But I've learned to live in this male coded world now, so it's like my little default, my autopilot.
It's how it's worked, it's how you've got on, you know, so that making that shift, it takes a lot of courage.
But I'm tired, and this is the bit for me that the last couple of years has said to me, there's time for change, because if I carry on the way I go, and I'm sure there's hundreds of women that would be like, oh my God, me too. I won't get to 50 at this, because I think I'm probably about, you know, you talked about this 80-20 thing. Yeah. So I think I'm probably about 50-50.
Okay.
And I really want to tip that female back up a bit more. Even to 70-30 it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think that'd give me a much mellower, more authentic time.
So I think this is quite a revelation for a lot of women. I think it's a big aha moment that they'll go, oh, That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm exhausted. That's why I'm tired. That's why I can't get this balance between work and life that we're all talking about. That's why I'm conflicted. That's why, you know, I feel like everything's being messed with in work, and then it kind of leaks into my personal life, and I don't understand what it is. And now it's like, now I get it. Because whenever I have shown my feminine, female energy, i.e., I've tried to calm a situation down, I've tried to nurture, I've shown some emotion, it's been snatched away from me. Like, oh, you're not getting emotional now, are you? Well, you know, women, they're just emotional, aren't they? We're not just emotional. We are not just emotional. We have an emotional energy, and we should be proud of that, but we're not just emotional, are we? It's not the only thing we have. So then we go, oh, right, maybe I need to stop doing that then.
And I think I've had some of that happen. I've had a go consciously of saying, no, I'm going to do this in a, you know, a female energy way. And then it's backfired on me, and I haven't got the outcome that I was looking for. So then it's almost like it's double bubbled back at me and gone, oh, well, see, look, it didn't even bloody work, did it? So tell you what, I'm going to go back to what I know, because how stupid was I to even try and beat myself up about the fact that I tried to
that you tried to.
Oh, the irony. You know, the irony.
The irony, yeah. So it's kind of not a tick box choice, is it? It's not. I'll do a bit of that. I'm going into this meeting now. I'm going to do a bit of peace. I'll have a bit of peace. We'll do some multi-thinking while I'm in there. I need to keep my eye on the big picture, and I'll be supportive. You know, it's where you sit naturally. It's what feels authentic to you. And you know what? When you've been playing another game for a long time, I think you need to. This authenticity doesn't just happen when you decide. I think it's a process.
I feel like I need to be cleansed first. Look, it's going to get all spiritual now, isn't it? Need to go to some ritual and be cleansed. And I feel like, how do I know when I'm at a blank sheet of paper stage to be able to?
Yeah, well, and you're never going to get there because it doesn't exist, does it? You just, you know, like, you need to.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we just start again and see what emerges?
So you know what? When we've said that you're and you're male female, obviously I'm the opposite of you, which is why we get on so well. So I'm the female male. Yeah. So what behavior shifts do you think need to happen for you to switch that? So I would say that I am probably 70-30 female. And I'm very proud of the male. I'm very proud of that because I know I need it. I need it when I'm in a difficult meeting.
Rid of it, is it?
No, or I need it, you know, when something is not working on one side. It's like, right, now I need to bring in some big guns here. I need to think about that differently. And I'm pretty conscious of that. I am aware when I'm out of a female. I'm definitely aware of it. But I'm very comfortable with it because I know that sometimes it's needed. So what behavior shifts do you think need to happen here for you to start making some moves in your energy?
All right, good question. That's the $1 million question, isn't it? So
some of them will jump out.
Before there's a behavior shift for me, there's a mindset shift. I've got a belief, got a limiting belief that needs transforming into an empowering one, and that is around some of these energy traits no longer being a weakness. All right, so there's a little bit of work to do then, starting to see some of these things as strengths, particularly, you know, being nurturing being a strength, peace and harmony being a strength, emotional and compassionate being a strength.
And what about this one?
Open and vulnerable. Asking for help sometimes, and
being actually showing that vulnerability. Because what's really interesting to me is that, you know, when you put all these energy traits together, these female energy traits together, I always say to women, we've got the power wrong, because, you know, power is not about control. Controlling everything is not going to give you power.
No.
Okay. Your vulnerability is where your power is, and like for you, that's like. Oh
no! Though as soon as you say it, I'm like, I'm going to be sick in a bucket.
Oh God, no! I'm not buying that.
That makes me like go. Ah!
But that's I
had a proper internal reaction when you did that. If you could see me, I'd have gone.
And that's the shift, because all those things you talked about feeling uncomfortable about are all where your vulnerability is.
They are, aren't they?
And when you get that, that's power. That's power.
Whereas I've been pushing on, trying to have power through control.
And the best thing to describe this is where the yin and yang is right in a relationship. So what happens when women spend way too much time in their male energy? It depends how long it's been going on. But interestingly enough, they've attracted a male or a partner who's in their female energy. Yeah. And then there are other issues that are keeping you there, because then when you want to switch and you want to go, it's not working for me, this, I want, I'd like to spend more time, gentler doing this thing. He's like, well, hang on a minute. And then
that's not what I signed up for.
No, and then you've got another conflict because you've set that up in that way because it works for you.
Yeah.
So,
and I have got a bit of that going on.
Yeah, when you're in a relationship where you've got that balance, and it doesn't matter where that balance is. You might be the male energy, you might be the female.
As long as it's balanced,
it works. You see that happen very naturally, and that's where you will be. It is a natural place. So, like for me and my husband Tony, who, if you watched the last episode the other week, it was the last episode of the series. Yeah. So Tony is a male. He's an alpha. He's all of these things on this other side. So he's competitive. He's got a fight mentality. Anything happens, he's like, ticks off. It's like, right, he gets really angry about stuff. He's pretty single-minded, task-oriented. If he's doing one thing, he can't think about another. So he asked me to do that. Well, I'll do this. Yeah, but what can you do? Can't do it. Yeah. It's task. I'm doing this thing first. Is he compartmentalized thinking? He absolutely is. He can box stuff off. I'm thinking about things all the time, all different things.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I've thought about that 5 minutes ago. It's gone. I'm done with that now. Yeah. He's not so much interested in power and rank now, but he was when he worked. He was a copper, and it was all about power and rank. So he chose a profession that was about power and rank. So is he about that? Well, absolutely. Strong on productivity and very practical. Absolutely, he is. Focus on facts, reason, and logic. I mean, he'll sit and listen to me talk from an emotional perspective, and then he'll bring it right back down to facts. Yeah, but is that? Do you know that?
Yeah, but what really happened, Jane, was this, this, and this, and what you need to do is X, Y, and Z.
Do you know that happened? Because you're saying, is he protective? Absolutely, he is. I'm his number one priority. He will make sure I'm protected at all costs. Is he a linear thinker? Direct and action orientated? Absolutely he is. So he exerts his power through control. Most of those things there are about control.
Yeah
But he's absolutely comfortable there, and I'm absolutely comfortable with him being there because I am his natural opposite. So I am the one that's bringing him off the ledge. When he gets too on it, or that fight is ready to kill something or someone, I'm like, whoa, and I calm it all down. When he's on logic, I'm emotional. So I bring his emotional side out. I bring his 20% out. So we're a perfect match. That's what it looks like.
It's almost like that's the ecosystem that society needs.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
It is.
It's the same with me and David. So David is definitely he's got a good chunk of female, so he's a male female. He's a bit like Beckham. But I'm also over there, so we compete a little bit sometimes in that space, and sometimes I think I push him into a bit more female male when I'm being overly male energied.
Somebody's got to do it, haven't they?
So actually, and only because I've been a bit poorly the last week, I have allowed him to take up more of that male space, and I've let him be protective over me. I've let him provide for me and look after me. And
how did that feel?
I actually said to him yesterday, I went, well, here's what I said. Oh no, I can't believe what I did. Right. I actually went to him and I'm really sorry for being so needy the last few days.
Bless you.
But I have felt needy. But that's another sign that I see those things as weak, isn't it? Rather than just saying. I did all say it's been really lovely that you've taken care of me. And I've enjoyed letting go of some of that stuff. But I also labelled it as needy. Bugaboo. Back to school for me.
But no, it's really good because there's so many women out there that will be where you are. Do you know what I mean? And it's a journey to get to the other side. And you're right. We don't live in that society. You know, there are some societies that are completely female driven, aren't there? You know, some tribal societies where the women control everything, and it's all about that female energy, and they're completely different. Their society is completely different. We don't have any balance. We don't have any balance. So it's much tougher for a woman to sit in her female energy.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of work for that. And we're going to talk about this in another episode, aren't we? What our choices are, you know, in terms of saying, I'm staying here because this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is my authentic place.
Yeah.
But there are consequences and implications of doing that.
There sure is. There sure is.
So, thank you for doing that.
Oh, I feel all naked. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mind sharing at all. And actually, it's a good conversation because it moves me forward, right? There's a few things that I've recognised in there. So the rest of this series will be an interesting development journey for me. And I'm sure it will be for many other women who are listening to this particular series too. So enjoy the ride with me, ladies. Enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. Hope we've kind of positioned that for you. You understand what we're going to be doing. It's all about us understanding this energy so we can get balance, so that we can live in our authentic selves, and not superwoman or not, you know, not being too male. So that's what we're talking about with the whole series. So thanks for listening. I hope there are some solutions in there for you. Some things that you might want to think about and pick up with us over the rest of the series. But for now, it's bye from us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Jane and Jodes on One. Until next time, remember, sisterhood matters. Together, we are bold, brave, fierce, and unstoppable.